You have to find a way to make your own money. What happens if the checks stop coming? What happens if your ex, God forbid, he just decides to stop paying? Alimony and child support are not guaranteed. Hey, beautiful. Welcome back to the Divorce Revolution. I'm so excited that you're here today. We are diving into a topic that may be a little bit uncomfortable, maybe a little bit controversial. I don't like to stay away from the tough conversations. These are the conversations that we need to have. And what I want you to know right off the bat for today's episode is that depending on alimony and child support for your financial future and to survive after divorce is a friggin' trap. And look, I know because I actually have child support from my ex, so I know that these payments are a huge help and we should receive child support to help to care for the kids. So if you're getting them, that's great. But listen, here's the problem with relying on these for your long-term financial plan. Number one, what happens if the checks stop coming? What happens if your ex loses his job or his financial situation changes, or God forbid, he just decides to stop paying? Or what if your ex decides to drag you back to court and lower the payments? What happens when the alimony ends and you have no plan to replace that income? Now, this episode today, you guys, is not about creating fear or anxiety or worry in you. My desire here is to create a level of awareness around your financial future. And the truth is that if your financial future is tied to what your ex does or doesn't do, girl, you are not free. You are not free. But here's the good news, and you're here listening to this show. And if you guys know, this is my mission, is to help as many divorced women become financially free. The truth is that you do not have to rely on somebody else to create financial security for yourself. And if you've ever thought about using your expertise or your skills or your experience or your story to start an online coaching business so that you can help others, girl, I've got something for you. I wanted to share with you guys really quickly before we dive into the episode about a workshop that I've got coming up. If you are done feeling financially dependent on your ex and you want to create some financial freedom and income on your own terms, I am hosting a 2-part free live training called Divorced to Dollars. In this free virtual event, I am going to break down how to identify your ideal client and what you can offer, because this event is for the woman who wants to create an online coaching business, who wants to share her story, who wants to create that autonomy and working remotely and working for herself and really secure her financial freedom, but doesn't know where to start. Again, how to identify your ideal client and figure out exactly what you can offer. We're going to talk through this simple blueprint for creating your first coaching program so that you can start selling today, even if you have no idea what the hell you're doing. This is my jam. This is what I specialize in. And we're also going to talk about how to build your confidence and overcome the fear and that imposter syndrome of stepping into the power as a coach. So if you are somebody who's ever even thought about starting an online coaching business, just like I did almost 6 years ago when I was navigating divorce, I wanted to start a side hustle and I also really wanted to help others. And so I decided to invest and bet on myself and start an online coaching business. And trust me, if I can do it, you can too. I just want you to know, you don't need experience. You don't need followers. You don't even need a fully baked business idea, just the desire to create your own damn money so that you never rely on anyone else again. And you can head to the link in the show notes to grab your seat for free, Divorced to Dollars. Again, head to that link in the show notes, reserve your spot. It's a 2-day live coaching event with me, and I'm super pumped about it. Okay, so let's get into today's episode. So let's just talk about really quickly the harsh reality of alimony and child support. Number one, alimony and child support are not guaranteed. What I mean by that is courts may award it and you may get that, but it doesn't mean that your ex is always going to freaking pay. You're kind of at the mercy of your ex. I mean, the truth is that some men will do anything to lower or even avoid the payments. I'm talking quitting their job, hiding income, or dragging you back to court. So even if he pays on time, alimony is temporary. And in fact, most states have an expiration date. So what's your long-term plan? That's what I want you to start thinking about today. What happens if it suddenly stops? If you're relying on your child support and your alimony to pay your mortgage, to pay your bills, the essentials, you are one late payment from your ex from financial stress. And many women honestly spend years in court chasing down unpaid support. And so I really, again, am sharing all of this with you to just get your wheels turning and thinking about your long-term plan, because I know you do not want to spend the rest of your life with your finances in the hands of your ex. The truth is that this isn't just about expecting the worst. It's just about being smart and prepared. That's what I want for you, is just to be smart and feel prepared. The other thing that I want you to think about is that, as I've been saying, alimony and child support, it's not a long-term financial strategy. These payments were never meant to be a forever plan. For most of you, just like me, the payments anyways just go until the kids are 18. And so if you're relying on them to survive, you're not actually free. Your financial stability is tied to your ex, because true independence really means like having your own damn money on your own terms. So now that we're kind of aware, I'm not trying to create doomsday here, but now that we're kind of aware, like, let's talk about then, how do we take our power back? What's the mindset shift that needs to happen to take our power back? The first mindset that we need to shift is relying on your ex keeps you stuck. Every time you stress about when the payment is coming and if they're going to pay on time, you are still mentally tied to your ex. And every time that you hesitate to make a financial decision because of what your ex might do, you are giving him control of your life. And so I really want you to think about money in terms of power. Money equals power. Financial independence, it's all about having options. It's all about having a game plan if shit goes south. And because when you make your own money, you get to decide where you live, you get to decide how you spend your time, and what's next for you. That is financial independence. When you are financially free, you stop worrying about whether or not he's going to cut you off and whether or not you have to go to court. Because if you do, then you know you're going to be okay. I want to share one thing. Even if right now, logistically, if he stopped the payments, you would not be okay. You would not have the money, like today, right now, if he stopped the payments, you would not have the money to be okay. Listen, I want you to know that I want to normalize that. And this is why I wanted to do this episode. There's a lot of women, including myself, for years that was in that position. But in order to get out of that position, I had to open up my eye. What really was my financial situation if that ever were to happen? And then how do I change that? I really want you to shift your mindset even today, even if you don't physically have the dollars in the bank to make the payments if the payments were to stop. I want you to start changing your mindset out of that like scarcity mindset and into an abundance mindset, and remind yourself that, girl, you have been through hell and back. And if that ever were to happen, you would be okay. But it's also equally as important, even with that mindset shift, to start taking action, to start having a plan. And so I really want you to start with the mindset shift, but then we also have to start taking action. Instead of really thinking about, okay, I need this money to survive, when you think about the child support or alimony or whatever that looks like, I want you to think more in terms of like, how can I start creating my own financial security so I never have to rely on him again? That is the mindset shift that I want you to think of. And this is what to do next. How do you start to create your own financial security? Well, number one, girl, you got to find a way to make your own damn money. That's just it. You got to get resourceful. You got to get scrappy. You have to get clever. You have to get intentional. You have to find a way to make your own money. And yes, girl, I know this is not what you wanted for your life, but here we are. I know you did not expect your life to turn out like this. So girl, you got to do what you got to do. So whether it's starting a business, whether it is maybe freelancing, maybe it's getting some continuing education, getting a certification, maybe going back to work if you've been a stay-at-home mom, maybe getting a second job, you need your own income stream. And before you say, but I don't have time, girl, don't come at me with that, because listen, I built my side hustle, what is now my full-time job, sitting here in front of you. I built this while I was going through a divorce, single momming it, and working a full-time sales job. And in fact, almost all of the women that I coach for creating their own online coaching business, they are all working a full-time job. This is why, part of the reason why I am so passionate about coaching divorced women is because I know the challenges and struggles that go along with trying to build out a business and create that financial stability for yourself while you're single momming it and working a full-time job and trying to take care of you and the kids and all the things. I know how hard it is, but I also know it's doable. doable. So don't come at me that you don't have time. I know that it's possible. The other thing, step 2, and how to create your own financial security is you have to build the skills that pay, or you have to tap into the skills you already have and then turn that into something. That's exactly where I start women when they want to create an online coaching business, tapping into the life experience and the expertise that you already have. But the truth is that especially if you've been a stay-at-home mom and you've been out of the workforce, girl, it's time to invest in learning some skills that will help you make some damn money. And listen, I was going to say, if you have ever thought about starting an online coaching business, but you don't even know what you'd coach on, I have a free resource called 100 Niches for Divorced Women. This is not even just coaching. This is everything from like digital marketing to coaching ideas, virtual assistants, media management, organizer. There's lots of different ideas. If you've been thinking about creating like a side hustle or another stream of revenue, but you don't even know what that would look like, head to the link in the show notes, download my 100 Niches, and I'll give you some ideas, a little brainstorming. But there's so many ways to make money online now that you don't have to go back to a 9 to 5. The truth is, and this is something I talk about, just till I'm blue in the face, you do have the experience and the knowledge that people would pay for. I want you to start thinking about how you can turn that into an income. And if you're not sure, you also need to come to my Divorce to Dollars workshop, because we're going to be diving into this exactly. The third step that I want to share with you is, girl, have a long-term plan. I want you to create an emergency fund so that you're not living paycheck to paycheck or alimony to alimony check. Have an emergency plan. And listen, if you're like listening to this and you're like, Amber, I don't even have any extra dollars to put in an emergency fund, skip the Starbucks drink this week. I don't care if you put $5 in your emergency fund. Just put something. Start somewhere. I'm sure if you look hard, there are some things that you can shift around and adjust to just start somewhere. So create emergency fund. The second thing is set financial goals that have nothing to do with what your ex is paying you. Meaning, like, don't even put that into the equation. Set some financial goals, leaving that completely out, because again, relying on that is not a sustainable long-term solution. If you're getting alimony now, be smart with it. Maybe use a little bit of it to invest in yourself. Like maybe use a little bit of it for education, continuing education, maybe getting a coach that can help you get going in the direction you want to get going, maybe starting a business. Be smart about it. So as we close out, I hope that this episode did not create a lot of fear, but just created a level of awareness. I am a huge believer that really having a plan is everything, especially after getting divorced and really starting over as a single mom. I just want you to know, I'm not saying that alimony or child support aren't helpful. They're extremely helpful. And if you're getting them, that's great. But I just want you to start to look at them in terms as a bonus and not a plan, because your future and your financial future should never depend on your ex. So just a quick recap of what we talked about today. I want you to remember alimony and child support can stop at any time. And depending on them is what keeps you financially tied to your ex. And the truth is that financial independence equals freedom, confidence, and control over your own life. And the last thing I want you to walk away and remember is that start building your income, your skills, and your plan for the future. And lastly, if you are ready to start making money on your own terms, I want to invite you to my free live workshop, Divorce to Dollars. In this workshop, I'm going to show you exactly how to take your skills, your experiences, and your passion and turn them into an online coaching business that pays you. No experience, no followers, no problem, girl. I'm going to teach you the step-by-step way that I actually created my first online business that changed the trajectory of my life. So head to the link in the show notes for Divorce to Dollars, and I'll catch you on the next one.